So in 2010, a friend and I were sitting on a beach in Ranong. He said, you know, we could paddle from here to Malaysia. And I said, you're full of it. He said, no, we could do it. So 6 months later, off we set. We didn't make it that time, but we've done it twice since. We've kayaked the entire west coast of Thailand. So this is obviously Phang Nga Bay. So this is kind of the spacing and kind of what we would do. We start in Koh Payam, right on the Burmese border, and it's about a 600-kilometer, 1-month trip, doing anywhere from 20 to 40 kilometers a day, coming down the Ranong, Phang Nga coast, across the top of Phuket, Ao Phang Nga, Ao Krabi, then down the coast of Trang de Satum to the very tip of Koh Taro Tau. This is my buddy Tim Morch. We both grew up in the same small town in Canada, Prince Edward County. It's on an island, and Tim is an ocean water expert. He knows everything about tides, which are very important with this kind of trip, but also just wind and camping, and very importantly, jungle first aid, which you find out very quickly is important. So this, you know, looks all nicey nice. This is the beach in Koh Payam where we set out. But, you know, there's three major forces on the ocean. There's the swell, which is what the surfers are always looking for. There are the tides, and there's the wind. Sometimes they all kind of work with you, sometimes they work against you, sometimes they kind of cancel each other out, but they're always there and you always have to think about them. And so the other things are the three S's: sun, sand, and salt. So this is me about to get crushed by a huge wave getting off the beach in Ranong. And so, you know, you're just getting, everything's just getting full of sand and salt all the time, and then baked with the sun all day. You're out there 8 hours a day for a month in the ocean. So the first section I really think of as the swell section, where you know, Ranong Coast, which is just stunningly, stunningly beautiful, and there's nobody there, and these huge long beaches. This is actually Phang Nga, the turtle sanctuary in Phang Nga, but really typified by very, very steep beaches with huge waves. So it's really the only section that I think of as dangerous, is this section. And then obviously we head out, after you hang the left at Phuket there, come across top of Phuket. This is heading out into Ao Phang Nga, that's Koh Phanak. And this section I think of as the wind section, where you're heading right into that prevailing easterly, and if you stop paddling, you're going backwards faster than you were paddling forward. So this is a tough section, but it's only a few days, but you get beautiful spots. The last section going south I think of as the tidal section, where you're dealing with these huge tidal flats. Sometimes you have to hump your gear, you know, 3 loads out a kilometer to the edge of the tidal flat. But you can also use the tides to really help you move very quickly sometimes. But also incredible jungle on Koh Taro Tau. We use these folding kayaks. The only way to do these trips is with a folding kayak. It's a real skin-on frame kayak, much like a Eskimo would use. And we can get in where we're going, and at the end we can take them apart, put them on buses and go our separate ways. My kayak just lives in my closet here in Bangkok. We've taken these to Palawan, I've kayaked in Canada. Food, obviously very important. We got it wrong on our first trip, so now it's all about dehydration. So I dehydrate, I cook everything and dehydrate it, and I can get the volume down by about 95%. So we're having a very, very good meal, one huge meal every night, and then snacking during the day. And that's enough. You know, the next thing is obviously water. We use these MSR dromedary water bags. We carry about 18, 20 liters each of water, which is kayak gasoline, really, and enough for 4 days. This is filling up at the spring at Lamru Park in Phang Nga. So this is just fresh water straight out of the mountain. We grab 40 liters of water right out of the mountain. And so we have about 25 kgs of gear. And but the most important bit are these Hennessy hammocks. It would get you up off the ground, away from the creepy crawlies, and they're waterproof and mosquito-proof. And it's really a key bit of the kit is that you get a great night's sleep. And this is the perfect kind of tent system for this trip. So we get beautiful camping spots. I mean, we're always looking for these tongson trees because they're nicely spaced, and they don't, like coconut trees, as you'll find out very quickly, they drop landmines from the sky. And so we've camped at rubber plantations, we camped at broken down old resorts and new resorts at Lewis Day, never a problem. And we really rely heavily on the Thai National Park system, incredible system. Literally, no, they've never, at any of the ones we've ever stopped at, which are a lot, they've never had a kayaker, ever. They watch all these kayakers and those little stupid things go by all day. Nobody's ever slept overnight. So we really rely heavily on that. They're great staff. This is kind of like navigation. We use these old school British Admiralty charts. They're very detailed, and again, my buddy Tim, he knows everything about tides, and he can read these charts. We obviously have GPSs, which are good for your daily totals and your tides and stuff like that. But really, it's all about these old school charts. You need to have some safety considerations. This is we're heading out into almost 20 kilometers straight across the ocean, nothing for 20 kilometers, into a huge storm. So you have to know some basic safety stuff, like how to get back into a flipped kayak. That's the number one. Other than that, you can kind of figure it out. This is nature's. This is the huge mangrove system behind Kokokau. Beautiful. We found out afterwards there are saltwater crocodiles in here. We've seen, we see baby dolphins and manatees and big birds. And as anybody who's done this can tell you, monkeys are assholes. But there's not. And so the nice thing about this is that it really is, leave only footprints, take only photos kind of thing. Here we are paddling past the tourist nightmare in Krabi, but we have our own beach every night. We have our own island every night. We never have to deal with it. We just paddle right past it, and we make no impact whatsoever. But the best part, this being Thailand, are the people. Right from top to bottom, we've done this trip twice now, 600 kilometers. Every person has been great. This old guy is the Rusi, the hermit of Arusi on Kotarotau. He's been living in a cave for 30 years, fixing fish traps. We stay with him. He's a great guy. Nobody's ever stayed with him before, except, local fishermen. So in the end, I can say that, this is doable for anybody, and you just have to have a bit of training, you gotta have some experience, you gotta plan, and you gotta have the right gear. But there's my website. I'm a photographer. Anybody wants to contact me and ask me about this is doable. You can do little chunks of it, and it's the greatest thing I've ever done, okay? So that's it. Thanks.